Good morning. I was the first one here on location. This walk-in cooler was 44 when I got here. I gave it a little time, it still is. This cooler's been shut all night. And it's a cooler, so it's not in a defrost or anything. Fan guard looks bad. Coil looks beat up, but not terribly dirty. The suction line is not very cold leaving. Warm coming in. Alright, let me do some poking around. Alright, so underneath the thermostat cover, the thermostat's set for about 33. You can see the unit is all froze up at the TXV. I'm going to get all this ice melted. I'm going to pull this off and clean it. Then we'll fire up the unit once it's clear and be able to check Freon levels. Maybe it's low on gas, maybe the TXV is choked down or something. Alright, so here's a gem. I'm trying to find the breaker to turn it off so I can take the panel off. They powered it with the light. Let's go get the flashlights. So I removed the, look at the fan guard. If it's that dirty in here, it only got there by going through the coil. So while I've got it stripped down, I'm going to clean the coil quick. But we're going to clean all this up in the body of it while it's defrosting. Get the hose in there when I'm all said and done. Clear out the last of the ice. Alright, so this coil is not terrible by any means, but you can see how clogged it is. I don't think this is the cause of our problem at all. But again, it's not helping the efficiency. So while we're here and got it pulled down, we're going to go ahead and put some Viper on this quick, clean it up. Now, we got the gunk. So, we've almost got all the ice melted on the side, and then we're gonna go ahead and power back up. I've got the cover and fan all clean. Alright, so I had to disconnect out on the roof. So I turned everything on downstairs. I set the thermostat back for 34. I came up here and put the disconnect in. We're going to give it a few minutes to settle. But condenser fan's spinning. You can see through the coil. It's not great, but it's not terrible. Side glass, problem. Time to equalize out, but it's not going to overcome that much. She's definitely low on gas. So I'm going to take this cover off. I'm going to look for any evidence of where the leak is before I just put gas in it and waste the Freon. Let me open this unit up. So just doing my inspection on this, looking for a leak. I'm just checking everything. Sometimes you can get a leak in here. But look at this contactor. It wasn't 3 or 4 months ago we did an inspection on these things, and this contactor wasn't burnt up like that. Look at how charred that is in there. And that white, that was black plastic. That's heating up. So we're gonna change that contactor. That's not gonna be our problem. And again, for certain, we are way low on the gas. So I'm gonna check downstairs. I don't see any evidence, any like obvious sign of a leak. There's no oil up here. I checked the high side first. I mean, that's the most probable side to have a problem, right? It's under high pressure. Did we rub out? No, everything looks fine. I don't see any oil anywhere. So, we're gonna grab a contactor, we're gonna grab the Freon, the scale. All right. Triple check. 404. Be right back. All right, I'm getting set. While I'm sitting here, these cake freezers are short cycling. Those are my screws for this unit. I set them over there, so if I put them over here, I'd knock them down. So, but listen, this unit is I can actually see the sight glass in there. It's flashing. But yeah, see how it's short cycling? On and off, on and off, on and off. Jeez, I'm not here to do any of this today. But equipment talks. Look at that. All right, we'll get to this. Let's go. Stay on target. All right. I've got my unit up top, right? We're gonna tear it out. So we're gonna zero out the scale. I'm gonna crack this hose. My bottle's open. I'm gonna crack this so I get liquid. There you go. So the line is purged. Okay. And I've changed the weight. See, you have to do that to be honest, because there is ounces of Freon in the hose. So let's clear that out. All right, now I'm gonna open that up and I'm gonna slowly, yeah, by the way, look at where we're running. This is 404. We're darn near at 0, but it's running a 40 below coil. And that sight glass is just empty. So now we're gonna bleed it in nice and slow. We're gonna fill the sight glass. It's gonna track how much we pull out of the bottle. Alright, I actually stopped for a minute just to give this a second to catch up. Open it up again, our sight glass isn't there. Stop it. Pound and 3/4. Again, as this runs through and the evaporator starts doing its job, it's going to play catch up. We're going to have a little more to tap on. Alright, not there yet. Got to refill it's got to run through the evaporator, or run through the condenser, and then refill the receiver back there, which is where the liquid Freon is stored, to make sure we're getting a solid column. That's what this is showing you, that what you're sending down to the evaporator is all liquid, because there's a TXV down there, and that TXV has to process and respond to the Freon levels and the temperature based on how much Freon it's letting through. And if it's constantly getting puffs of vapor, it can't properly regulate. So, all right. So 2.25 pounds looks like the magic number. Looking at our pressures now. Okay. 404. We're at about 60 psi, which equates to about 25, about a 25-degree coil. That would be pretty good. 25-degree coil in a cooler is going to drop it to able to satisfy at 34. Then solenoid's going to close, compressor's going to shut down, and the unit is going to air defrost and run that 34-degree air over the 25-degree coil, melt the ice while it's satisfied, and then whoop, kick back on. All right. I didn't change the contactor yet. I wanted to gas this up and get that box pulled down in temp before I did the next step. So what have we changed? 415. Huh. Weird. I'll have to go back and watch the video and see when this changed, because I was at 2 1/4 and now I'm at 1 and almost 2. So, but yeah, pressures are good. It's a nice cool day out. So again, running 404, you're at 85 degrees. It's looking good. Let's go check the output temperatures downstairs and see how the box is responding. We'll let the box cool down so the product can be back in temp, and then we'll deal with the electrical. And then we'll see what's up with those. They're still short cycling. After much ado, I've managed to do this with one hand, but you need to verify the coil voltage. All right, so I went downstairs to grab my contactor, and I assumed this was a 120 volt coil. Then when I was down there, I realized I didn't check. So the coil, what activates it is 210. So I brought both up. All right, so here's your contactor. Coil, 208 to 220. If you're not paying attention, you're gonna put this one on. 2-pole, 120 volts. Then you're gonna send 240 to it, 210 to it, and fry it. So, there's our coil. For our contactor, change this mess up. Yeah, the box is actually satisfied. The thermostat's out of whack. It was set for 34, and the box was only 41, and it satisfied while I was down there. So I turned it down to 28, just to get the box a little colder. I'm gonna go ahead and pull the disconnect on this. We're gonna change that. So check this out. Before I pull the disconnect, I actually put it back in because I wanted to, this thing looks bad to me, but numerically it's not failing yet. Well, check this out. Set for voltage on the bottom, 211.5 on the top, 211.4, 211.2. So check this out. If you go from the bottom to the top while it's closed, it should read 0. Because what it's doing is measuring distance. So it's not much, but you've got voltage drop across that. You are losing power. And eventually you're gonna lose more and more and more and more until it's single phase, or well, it's not a 3-phase, until you're only sending one leg of power to it. Then you're gonna cause more drama. Oh yeah, you're dropping voltage across both of them. So, definitely need to change it. Listen, to each their own. But if I have the slack to remove this and put my new one in place before I unhook everything, I'm gonna do it. So I had to cut a couple zip ties. I obviously took pictures before I started. Regardless of the video I'm shooting, I always take pictures of the wiring, because it only takes a second to get distracted, get a phone call, and then you're chasing how was it wired. So I personally like to do it this way, because now I can go wire by wire. Yeah, it's a little bit of a headache sometimes dealing with finagling, but I'd rather wire by wire it this way than have this still in place, wire to my new one, then have to get it out, go. So now we're gonna go one at a time. All right, so I think that's it. Let's find out. 3, 2, 1, don't blow up. All right. Pull in. Compressor, fan, clear sight glass. That is a beautiful thing. 35 degrees. rocking.